Good evening and welcome to the July 28th, 2014 Burnsville Planning Commission meeting. Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, staff. Good evening, everyone in our audience, viewing, listening, and in person. At this time, I'd call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Any changes from commissioners, staff?
None from staff.
Motion, moved by Commissioner Bradrick, second by Commissioner Tahiri. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, that passes 5-0. The next item on the agenda is the election of the chair and vice chair. I have been doing this for about 15 months, I guess. I took over as, I was vice chair, and then I took over when the chair left, and my term is now up, so we are going to be looking to elect a new chair and a new vice chair. Pat Julik, whose term was up at the end of June, was the vice chair, and he is no longer on the commission. So at this point, we will elect a chair and a vice chair.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, if we could do two motions, one for the chair position, one for vice chair.
Vice chair first.
It's up to you. It's up to the maker of the motion.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, it's my honor and privilege to nominate Commissioner Jim Bradrick to be the Vice Chair of the Planning Commission.
All right. Anyone
I second that.
Commissioner, nomination for Commissioner Bradrick by Commissioner Singh, seconded by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Commissioner Bradrick would be our new vice chair, 5-0. All right. Next item would be a motion for a chair. If anyone wants to do so.
I would move that Commissioner Singh be chairman.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Bradrick to make Commissioner Singh chair. Anyone want to second? Second by Commissioner Benke. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 5-0. And congratulations to Commissioner Singh, who is now the new chair. We welcome him back. He was a chair, I think, a couple years ago at one point in time. And as I'm leaving my position, I want to say it was a fun experience, and I enjoyed it. And I'll look forward now to becoming back into just the regular group. So with that, I will pass the gavel figuratively and literally over to Commissioner Singh, now the new chair.
Thank you, Co-Chair. Commissioners, members of the listening and viewing audience, it's an honor and a privilege for me to serve as the chair of this Planning Commission. This commission has done a remarkable job over the past year in particular because of the leadership of our Chair Corey. And I would like to extend to him our sincere thanks for doing a great job. He came in, as he said, when the chair left, so he was vice chair. And he had some questions about how he would perform. And I can assure you that on behalf of the commissioners that he led us well, and we have achieved quite a lot during the year and 3 months that he was the chairperson of the Planning Commission. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
As the chair, I promise to work hard as usual with commissioners and staff so that the Planning Commission that makes recommendations to the City Council will make informed recommendations, and with the help of the public, people who come up and give testimony before the Commission, I promise that we'll give each one a hearing and the opportunity to express their views to the Commission. So thank you again, and look forward to working with commissioners and staff. Were you going to say something, Mr. Vice Chair?
No, I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the approval, item 3, approval of the minutes from the July 14, 2014 Planning Commission meeting. Any changes? Staff, commissioners?
None from me,
Do I
Chairman.
hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Thomas,
Second.
second Commissioner Tahiri. Any discussions? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried 5-0. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next item, number 4, is a public hearing, an application for City of Burnsville for a conditional use permit and a setback variance for improvements to the existing lift station located at 13639 Oakwood Curve. Deb?
Thank you. Just up here. Thank you, members of the commission, and we've got members out in the audience. This is a public hearing this evening. We do have our Assistant Public Works Director, Jeffrey Raddick, who is here, who is very familiar with the entire project design, and if there are questions that relate to particular details about the project, he is certainly here to address the questions for you. The application that we have, we're considering 2 different items tonight. One is a conditional use permit, and that would be for to consider allowing an essential service structure in an R1 single-family zoning district. The stormwater lift station is considered to be an essential service structure. The structure has been in place since approximately the late 1960s. We do not have record of land use clearances per se for this structure, so the conditional use permit is being requested basically to bring the use, which is considered to be legal nonconforming, to a conforming use within the R1 zoning district. The second item that we are considering that is associated with this project is, as this is an existing facility, the setbacks in the ordinance currently require all essential service structures to be set back 50 feet from all property lines. This particular structure is a little bit different situation because it is a stormwater lift station. The location of the facility is based on much more than just setback standards. It's based on where it needs to be located in order to perform in terms of topographic elevations, the intake valves for the water, and moving the water from the stormwater pond to other ponds within the area. And taking a look at the specific application, the existing lift station building is located about 12 feet from the front property line, which is the west lot line. And they are requesting variance to allow that 12-foot setback as opposed to the 50-foot standard. And then item number 2, and I'll show you this in a minute, is there is a precast cement structure that is proposed to be located about 23 feet from the south lot line, and again that would need a variance. So those are the 2 setback variances that come along with this particular application, and again trying to bring everything into compliance with current zoning ordinance and code requirements. The property is located in a single-family residential neighborhood. There are 2 lots that are owned by the city. The stormwater pond is located to the left. There is a large drainage and utility easement that covers the lot in which the structure is located, the actual lift station. And that lift station is located on the southerly of the 2 lots. This is a pictometry which shows the location of the existing facility, which is at this location here. There is an access, currently an access driveway, and the property slopes from the street down to the stormwater pond. This would be the vacant lot currently that is associated with this, and part of the site plan does include that northerly piece as well. On this slide, this gives you a general idea. We are looking at this project. It is in the Wetlands Environmental Overlay District. However, because this is a stormwater management pond, the purpose of this is to clean water and help to control the amount of water that flows through the system and the time that it takes. And there are a number of different ponds that are associated with the system within this area of the city. For this particular one, this just shows that the proposal does include not only rehabilitation of the lift station itself, but also clean out of the pond so that they can take the materials that have accumulated over the past years out from the pond so that it will begin to function as designed. The lift station, this is a view of the lift station looking at it from the pond side of the property. And as you can see, it is a utility type structure. Basically, it's got a brick veneer. The two side walls are retaining walls. And then there is a security fence and just the other equipment associated with the project, the electrical equipment and some other transformers, etc. This is a view of the same facility looking at it from the street, and as you can see, really not much is visible from the street level except the rooftop and the existing fencing, which is there for security purposes. What the proposal includes is primarily they will be removing all of the facilities inside the building and replacing them. And those are the particulars that Jeff can speak to you on. In terms of the conditional use permit, we're looking at how does this facility, how can it be designed or improved in order to best fit within the residential character of the neighborhood. Considering that it is an existing building, what the plans have been designed to do is to replace that fencing with another type of more decorative type fencing. In addition, the site will, or the walls will be cleaned and painted brown color, similar to what's out there now. The fencing is also proposed to be a bronze type color, but a decorative fence, and I think more attractive than the other fencing that was involved. In addition to that, you'll note that there is a different style door that's being proposed here. As you exit, or as you work at the site, most of the work is either done through lifting or climbing down through the top roof part of the structure, or actually walking down stairs and coming around and going in the current access door, which I believe is just a one-door facility. With this project, what is going to happen is that there are going to be actually, I'm just going to go back for a minute. There are going to be other improvements to make this more functional, usable, and more easily serviceable. And what we're looking at is currently there is a driveway that's over 40 feet wide. Basically, as you look at the structure from the street, you see this big driveway, goes right to the building. What is proposed is to narrow this driveway in this location. And then as part of that area that used to have hard surface, or hard surface will be removed, there will be a new transformer pad that will be located here, a new generator pad which will be located again downhill on the northeast, the northeast side of the structure. This is the existing facility, which will have basically a new roof structure installed, new flat roof structure, and then all of the pumps and components internal to that. In addition, what will happen then is there will be a new access. This is the northerly of the two lots that the city owns. This access will be brought around, come down the hill, and there will be a parking area here, again, so that maintenance can get in and do work at the facility, and instead of having to carry all the equipment downstairs, which they currently need to do from up here, they'll be able to service this much more readily with their vehicles and trucks for service needs. The overhead shows a couple of other things. There will be retaining wall constructed in this location right along the drive. Again, it's because we've got some changes in grade there. The retaining wall will be a standard decorative block type wall. We're looking at it, the height of it is 1 to 7 feet, depending on where you are at on the property. So this will not require any further use permits or variances, but it will be an addition to the site. The color is in the brown tones, similar to what the structure will be painted to be. And there will also be the similar decorative fencing installed at the top of the retaining wall where you've got quite a bit of elevation, again, for safety purposes. What I've shown here is where the setback deviations or variances are requested. This would be the front property line in this location. The existing setback to the building is 12 feet. It's supposed to be 50 feet based on the ordinance, so the variance would be for the difference. This will be the new concrete effluent structure that will be above ground, and it does have a 23-foot setback as opposed to a 50-foot setback. The location of all of these facilities is set on the operation of the lift station facility, so that is the second and only other variance that is requested. In terms of the construction, there will be fencing installed around the entire area, also erosion control and silt fencing that if you have questions on, we can discuss later. There are a number of plans. Again, I'll leave these for Mr. Raddick and Planning Commission if you have questions. But we did include a number of plans in your report which show primarily where they're taking or removing the pumps and replacing them and some of the other equipment that's involved, and that's what these few slides show. Again, these are all things happening inside of the building. This is the floor plan, the current facilities that will be removed. This is the roof plan. Again, you basically just see a concrete roof with hatches in order to get to the facility. This will all be removed. There will be a new generator installed at the site. This is the one that I had discussed being just northeast of the existing building. And this generator will be located on a pad that is about 13 by 23 feet. It'll be a concrete pad. It is a new generator. It will not have to operate on a continuous basis. It's needed when there's maintenance that's done at the facility, also if there are power outages, etc. And again, the generator itself does meet the decibel levels for a residential neighborhood, and this is not something that will be running all the time, but on a periodic basis. All of the typical work that is done for maintenance purposes is done during the day time, and should not be more than a couple of hours of maintenance work at the most. The reason that I'm showing you the electrical plan is just to give you, again, an idea of if you're looking on top of the facility where the pad is. This is for the new electrical pad. And this is an element that will receive some additional screening. Currently, we'll take a look at the plan here again. Currently, there's a fairly large evergreen tree in this area of the site that will need to come down in order to accommodate the work that needs to be done for the electric installation and the pad. And I'll just move on to that. Oop, sorry, wrong way. And what I was referring to, this is where the generator will be located, and then right out front this will be a transformer, and this is what I was just referring to. This will be where the electrical connections are made. And there will be 5 trees that are installed around the facility that are not currently there. Again, this area is currently hard surface, so it will be brought back to green space with the exception of where the actual transformer is. And then 5 juniper trees will be installed. The equipment pad that I discussed earlier for the generator is located in this area, and they are proposing 4 juniper trees to be able to, again, provide some screening. This is, again, as you start going downhill, so not much of it is visible, if any at all. In terms of the application, staff has reviewed this, our engineering department, building staff, fire staff, et cetera. And our recommendation from staff is to consider approving both the conditional use permit for the essential service structure and also the 2 variances that are requested. One of the items that we have added or recommended for a condition is, although this is a stormwater pond, it is still part of the city's surface water or water resource management plan. And the type of wetland that it is classification that requires a 20-foot buffer strip. And the plans that have been submitted do include reestablishment of that buffer area once the construction is finished and once they've cleaned out what they need to clean out for the pond. Item number 2, the areas of the retaining wall that are over 4 feet in height, as I indicated, it's between 1 and 7 feet, depending on the location. Those areas that are over 4 feet in height will need to be structurally engineered. And the third condition will be that a right-of-way permit will be required prior to construction, and that is to allow for that second driveway to be installed. With that, those are all of my comments, and I'm available for any questions, and also Mr. Raddick is here as well.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garris, for your presentation. Commissioners, questions for Ms. Garris or for Jeff? Yes, Commissioner Banky.
Deb, just for the audience, the setback requirements here are basically because the building was built prior to setbacks in Burnsville being established.
Exactly. This structure was built prior to that 50-foot setback standard going into effect, and also prior to the requirement that essential service structures need conditional use permits. So what they're doing is going through the process. We know that there's a need to rehabilitate the site, to upgrade it because it's no longer performing and it's obsolete, some of the pumps and things. So exactly, the performance standards that are in effect now do require the conditional use permit and the variances, so that's why they're going through the application process.
And then the pond itself, we know they need to be rehabilitated. This is the first time it's been rehabilitated since it was established.
That I would have to have Mr. Raddick come up and help you with.
Chair, Commissioners, we believe this is the first time the pond has ever been cleaned out, or has records of it being cleaned out.
Thank you. Any other questions from
Chair, I'd like,
Jeff? Please hold on, Jeff.
go ahead.
I'm just trying to establish that these ponds last for quite a while, and this kind of disturbance doesn't happen all that frequently.
I'd expect the clean out to last 20, 30 years.
My only other question was the effluent structure.
An effluent structure, basically the current emergency management plan for the station, if it were to fail, is to lay pipe and overland pumps towards the McAndrews Pond. The effluent structure allows emergency pumps to be connected right in the force main without having to go through the process of laying pipe over land.
That's it?
Any other question for Mr. Raddick?
Yeah, so there is no effluent structure today, and I'm assuming it has to be there because it's immediately over the force main, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So today there really is no backup because that's 23 feet from the neighbor, So typically, there's not, that particular structure is not going to create any noise or any other disturbances unless we're in an emergency. Is that?
Yep, it'll only be used in emergency and possibly for maintenance for future pulling of the pump.
If we have to pull the pump, we'll have to bypass the pump station through this piece.
Currently, if we have to pull the pump, we have to do it in a frozen condition. This structure would allow us to do it in a non-frozen condition.
And then the generator, today there is no generator, everything's natural gas, the pump's natural gas?
Yep, the pump is driven by a natural gas engine. The plan is to replace that engine with an electrical motor backed up by a generator.
And the generator would then be natural gas or diesel? Will there need to be diesel deliveries to the job site?
The generator will be diesel. It is right on the borderline between the cost effectiveness between natural gas and diesel. It is just a little bit underpowered to be natural gas, so it is going to be diesel. There will need to be, if it runs in an emergency, typically between 1 and 3 days in emergency. It'll have diesel fuel storage for that.
Enough fuel to run it that long?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner Corey.
Thank you, Chair. Roughly how long to do all the work that we're talking about here?
As I stated before, to do any maintenance now, we have to do it in a frozen condition. So we are anticipating starting in November, basically ending in February, and then cleaning up the site and restoring the site in the spring.
So basically during the winter, and you're looking at 2-3 months.
Yep, probably 4 months during the winter, and then just a week or two of restoration in the spring.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah. Commissioner Thomas?
Deb touched a little bit on tree removal, just particularly for the transformer. Any other tree removal you can clarify for us?
We are actually going to try to get the transformer and the generator and leaving that tree. We will see how much damage we have to do to that. It's a spruce. And there is one other oak by the effluent structure that will need to come down. And then the effluent structures are for sure. The spruce is not for sure yet. We will try to work around it.
We talked about the color of the block. I saw the generator was green. Is that going to be a color that complements the retaining wall, or is it going to be green?
Pretty much there's no other options other than the company's colors.
Okay. Thank you.
Looks like the generator is down in front of the wing of the retainer on the low side.
Any other questions for you, Ms. Garris or your chair? Commissioner Tahiri?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To my understanding, this is an existing pond, right?
Yes.
Are there any other improvements we are doing to the structure of the pond to accommodate any new city ordinance or requirements as well?
Basically the pond, it's all dead storage is between a normal water elevation and the bottom of the pond, or the capacity of the pond. That deals with quality. The pumping end kind of deals with between normal water elevation and high water elevation. We've established the high water elevation will function kind of as it currently functions. I guess that's the whole goal of the project. The high water elevation and normal water elevation will stay the same, and we are sizing the equipment to meet that current condition.
Thank you.
I guess
Commissioner Bentley.
to continue with that, thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Are you adding capacity then, or simply restoring capacity by removing the sediment?
Simply restoring the maintenance or the water quality capacity.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you. Now, this item require a public hearing, and so I now open the public hearing. Anyone in the audience who would like to come up and talk to the Planning Commission about this matter, please come on up, and we ask that you state your name and address for the records. Here's your chance to, if this matter impacts your home or neighborhood, you would like to share, come on up. Just please give us your name and the address for the records. Yes, please.
I'm Karen Craig. I live at 220 Meadow Circle North. It's directly across the pond from this. I guess the question, I didn't realize they were talking about building a new access road to the front of the structure. And I'm just wondering if that's going to be open to the public or if it will be blocked off in some way.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Chair, Commissioners, there's no plan to block it off to the public. It's a pretty relatively neutral site for us.
Karen, does that satisfy you? There's no plan to block the road, to block off the road.
The concern that I have, the reason that I asked the question is because we've been told that on top of that structure, where they can park now, that it has been an area for drug trading, and it seems like with going down there, it might just give a little more privacy to that type of element. And also potentially somebody could drive down there on a dark night and maybe end up in the pond.
Thank you.
Chair, Commissioners, I guess we're the owner and the operator of the site. I guess if it does become an issue or has become an issue, I'll talk with them and we can further address that if needed.
So you'll monitor.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Any other person would like to come up and address the commission on this matter? Okay, seeing, okay, come on up. Name and address, please.
Dave, Karen's husband. I guess I see that they're planning on trees to screen the view from anybody driving on Oakwood Circle, but we live on the other side of the pond, so we'll be looking at a new road and a green generator. I guess I would think that we should add some trees on that side of the structure for our purposes.
Okay, just let's get a response to that. So in case you have a follow-up question.
Sure. Chair, Commissioners, I'll give them my business card and we will work through the details.
Okay.
That's it, just some trees to
Yes.
cover the area.
Jeff said, Dave, that he will work with you on that matter.
Chair, I have a question.
Okay, Commissioner Tahiri?
Yes. Typically, when we locate a generator on a site, does the city is obligated to secure that from the public access, or is it pretty much just open to?
For this particular generator, everything is self-enclosed, and there is, so the security is with that. Also, hopefully, to address a couple of questions, along this retaining wall here, that same decorative fencing that is going to be located on top of the facility is also going to be located along parts of this as well, so that will also help with the screening of both this and the generator facility. There really is no, at this point, there isn't anything in this location, and we have all hard surface here, but I think that our staff can take a look at, as long as we aren't planting in some place that's going to be flooded on a regular basis, if there can be some additional landscaping located in those areas to address the concerns from the neighbors.
Thank you, Ms. Garris. Any questions for Ms. Garris? Okay. Any other member of the audience would like to come up? The public hearing is still open. Okay, not seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, over to you. Any other, Commissioner Corey?
Thank you. I would support this. I I think that the decorative structure on top is going to be an improvement from just the rail that's there. It seems with the planting of the trees and the railing on top that they're trying to, make it as pleasing as possible with essentially a cement structure that it is. And obviously it needs to be upgraded, and it's an essential part of it. So I'll support it. It seems like they're putting their best foot forward and attempting to make it integrated into the neighborhood and make it as pleasing as it can be with what's there, and upgrading it at the same time.
In addition, staff is willing to work with neighbors to make sure their needs are met. Any other comments, questions? Commissioner Bradrick?
Sure, I would also be in support of this application. I do think I would appreciate if staff looked at the need or the possible use of some sort of gate to stop someone from driving down the road. It's a really quiet neighborhood, and it's really nice back in there, but that would, someone could drive, and it seems to me like the right thing to do is, because today, as the homeowner said, you can park right there off the street, but this is going to take you back a little ways. And planting, the generator would be exposed from across the pond. I would think there could be, as they're spray painting the building, the encasement of the generator might be able to be painted to match the color of the building to make it blend in. But I'm pretty familiar with those generators, and that encasement kind of keeps everybody out. It locks, it's secured down. So with those, those are just suggestions I'd like to have staff look into, but I would be supportive of the application with the three conditions that are in our background.
Thank you, Commissioner Bradrick. If there's no other discussion, do I hear a motion?
Chair, I would move that the Planning Commission recommend approval to the City Council of the CUP and setback variance subject to the following three conditions. The three that are stated in our background is, number one, the 20-foot wetland buffer area shall be reestablished following the pond cleanout. The retaining wall will need to be engineered for areas over 4 feet in height, and a right-of-way permit is required prior to construction. And I did not state the address, so let me get back there. That is 13639 Oakwood Curve.
Thank you, Commissioner Bradrick. Motion moved by Commissioner Bradrick.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed on a 5-0 vote. This will go to the City Council meeting on the evening of Monday, August 4th. So those who are interested in attending that meeting can do so. Thank you.
Good luck, Deb.
Thank you.
And thank you, Dave and Karen, for coming up and expressing your views.
Thank you for
As
coming.
you see, staff is willing to work with you on this matter. We do welcome citizens who would like to come before the Planning Commission and express their views on any matter that impacts their neighborhood or their homes or their individuals. We encourage you to do so. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item 5, is a public hearing, an application for Tannerup Development, Inc. for a planned unit development amendment for a building addition and a restaurant located at 14063 Aldrich Avenue South. Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. The application in front of you this evening is a planned unit development amendment. It is for a building addition for both Men's Warehouse and a Smashburger restaurant. The proposal is located within the Burnsville Marketplace Shopping Center. You'll notice on the map it is located between County Road 42 and McAndrews Road. It is adjacent to I-35W and Aldrich Avenue South. The building addition is 4,000 square feet total. 2,000 of that will be an expansion of the existing Men's Warehouse retail space. 2,000 of that will be for new tenant Smashburger. The site is 26 acres in size and has quite a bit of history. Let me jump to a different image. The whole site exists as a PUD that has been in place since 1990 when the shopping center was constructed. In 2001, the property owner, Tanner Development, received approval for a 2,000 square foot addition for Men's Warehouse. For whatever reason, that project did not move forward. The existing building stayed in place. In 2013, the property owner applied for the building addition. Rather than being on the south side of the Men's Warehouse building, as with the 2001 application, it was on the north side. All 4,000 square feet were on the north side of the building. Staff reviewed it, found it suitable with circulation, issued the permit. Unfortunately, because of the increase in size between the two applications, the 2001 approval was for 2,000 square feet. The 2013 permit was for 4,000 square feet. That exceeds the amount that staff can issue at a staff or at administrative level. The permit was issued in error. At this time, we're bringing it in front of the Planning Commission to clear up the land use approvals for both the building addition and the addition of the restaurant to the facility. At a staff level, we can increase the size of a building by 10%. Obviously, the 2,000 square feet exceeded that amount. Let me jump to this next image. Again, Men's Warehouse sits right here. The 2001 approval brought the building down this direction. There was existing green space in this area. You'll see here the outline for the 4,000 square feet with the expansion. The existing Men's Warehouse is 5,500 square feet, so this is just less than double the existing facility. The applicant, in turn for the green space removed with the building addition, has removed parking stalls from the site so that we have a no net increase in no net increase in hard surface. Additional green space was added to satisfy those requirements. In total, 11 parking stalls were added, and I'll get to the location of those in a second. As you'll note in the report, the ordinance requires just over 1,000 parking stalls. The shopping center in total is at 1,393 stalls, so far exceeding the minimum requirements. With PUDs, we talk about the benefits and the deviations. In this case, we see the benefit as the new tenant as a restaurant. Keeping Men's Warehouse viable and expanding helps to keep the 42 corridor as a regional draw. It's also consistent with the previous PUDs to keep Burnsville Marketplace as a retail shopping center, as well as consistency with the comprehensive plan. There are no deviations. The applicant satisfied all of the performance standards for the ordinance. To put things in perspective, I-35W runs right here, and Aldridge Avenue runs right here. Super Target sits right in this area. This is Men's Warehouse. This is the addition. To pick up the additional green space that was consumed with the building addition, there were parking stalls right in this area that have been converted to green space. This exists as a nice green space. Existing trees, landscaping are there now. The applicant also made adjustments to actually add a parking stall back in here so that they could stay within their own parking criteria. Obviously, they have obligations to meet with their own tenants and satisfying sufficient parking. That was the existing layout. This is the proposed layout. So the existing building ends here. This would be the 2,000 square feet allocated to Men's Warehouse. On the far north end, this would be the 2,000 square feet allocated to Smashburger. The restaurant is proposing an outdoor patio in this area. It's got tables and chairs for 20 people. That is within the ordinance. There are no special requirements, special approvals through the Planning Commission for that. As I indicated, the applicant satisfies the performance criteria. The parking is satisfied. The building addition will replicate what is out there. The same brick is being used, the same brick detail. There's soldier course along the back of the building and the base. This is what you'll see from Aldridge Avenue. The outdoor seating patio sits on this end. There is a trash enclosure proposed. Obviously, with the restaurant, you've got additional trash, recycling, grease containment. All of that is enclosed within the trash enclosure. It's on the north end of the building. It's got doors, roof, brick walls, so it will look like the rest of the building and does satisfy the ordinance. The applicant also provided rooftop screening. This is a cross-section of the building. There will be units added as the building expands. There will be additional rooftop equipment to handle the additional square footage. The retaining, not the retaining walls, but the parapet walls will extend above the roof line to satisfy the screening for those. Again, here's a close-up of the north end of the building. This is the far north end you'd see from Aldridge Avenue. The patio seating right here, the trash enclosure behind. Here's a layout for the patio, and the applicant is proposing a decorative, it is aluminum, but would look like a wrought iron fence around the facility. It's yet to be determined if they'll be selling beer at this facility, but to satisfy the city ordinance requirements, that area needs to be secure with a fence for their liquor license. Last but not least, Commissioners, the applicant is well within their signage requirements. There are no freestanding sign requests with this project. Men's Warehouse will utilize their existing signage on the building. Smashburger is proposing 3 wall signs on the, east, west, and north elevations of the building. They are proposing in total less than 240 square feet, and they're allocated up to 430 square feet of signage, so well within their allotment. Staff is not recommending any conditions with this. It satisfies the ordinance as presented. Nathaniel Shea with Tannic Architects, they are the designer on the project. Mr. Shea is here to represent the property owner. I believe we can answer any questions the Commission may have. It is a public hearing, and I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Slania, for your presentation. Commissioners? Questions to Mr. Slania?
I guess.
Commissioner Benke?
Chris, I was there this afternoon about 5 o'clock, and I came out of the parking lot on the south end of Men's Warehouse, and I almost got hit. And I'm a little concerned with the extra traffic Smashburger is going to bring there, considering that right now none of Men's Warehouse parking is being utilized because of the construction. Everybody's parking on the Office Max side. I presume Smashburger expects to bring quite a few people in here, a lot of traffic, and I'm just a little concerned with how tight that area is currently, especially with the exit to Aldrich immediately south of here.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, staff did look at the traffic. Again, it is intended to be a regional draw. It will have traffic implications. Their first few weeks or months that they're open. Staff feels long-term it will not significantly depreciate the traffic volumes or deter the traffic in the area. It was not a significant concern from a staff perspective.
Any other questions?
Just a hypothetical comment. Chris, I noticed that the patio is immediately adjacent to the garbage storage area.
Correct.
Assuming that there are issues with that in the future and the applicant comes back and asks for a new patio location, is there any place else here that he can put one?
There are options available. That was something staff discussed with them, not because of the trash enclosure, but because of the green space. There would have to be additional site modifications. If I can get, well, there is two-way traffic on all directions of the two buildings. There could be additional landscaping or screening and the patio moved farther away from the building. It would eliminate this drive between the two. This exists as green space now, and this is Leanne Chin Restaurant. So there are possibilities. None of them would be easy or cheap. It would require significant changes to the circulation.
Sure.
What's the capacity of the patio for
20 seats.
Any other questions? Okay. Commissioner Tahiri?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris, you mentioned about the parapet height being increased to accommodate the view to rooftop equipments. Does that match the existing parapet?
It does. I'm glad you mentioned that, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. It will be the same height as the existing. As you've driven by the site, most of the rooftop units are screened by that existing parapet. Staff's comfortable with maintaining that same height, so aesthetically, long-term it will not look like an addition to the building, but rather it was originally designed this size.
And follow up on that, Chris, just for me to clarify, the brick wraps around the building 100%, right?
Correct.
There is no concrete block or...
Correct.
masonry.
100% as the building exists now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Slaney. This is a this item requires a public hearing, and I will now open the public hearing. If anyone would like to come up and give their views to the commission, we welcome you. Anyone? Seeing none, then we close the public hearing. Commissioners, over to you. Commissioner Thomas?
I think this is a nice project, a nice addition to Burnsville, and I can support it as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas.
Chair, I would agree. I think this is a first for us with no conditions. And I'm not sure how many times we've had someone come to us with a PUD amendment when the building's completely done. This is new. But I think they did an excellent job tying the addition onto the existing building. Most people won't even notice the addition at all. And I also can be in support of this PUD amendment.
Thank you, Commissioner Bradrick.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Benke?
I concur. I think the building looks really good, and I think this will make a nice addition to that area.
Thank you.
I agree also.
Thank you, Commissioner Khoury.
I concur as well. I assume the new parking stalls accommodate the additions per city requirement.
Meet and exceed.
Meet and exceed. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
Chair, I would move that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council approval of the planned unit development amendment for a building addition and restaurant located at 14063 Aldridge Avenue South, with no conditions.
Motion moved by Commissioner Corey,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bradrick. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Against? Motion passed 5-0, and this will also go to the City Council on Monday, August 4th. So, good luck.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is updates. Staff?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I just have one that I draw your attention to. The next meeting is a Wednesday, August 13th, rather than a Monday night as usual. So,
Thank you. Noted. Any other update? Thank you very much. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Corey,
Second.
second by Commissioner Tahiri. All in favor? Aye. Pass on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much, audience, for being here and joining us for the Planning Commission meeting. As you heard, the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 13th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a good night.